Welcome to the channel and welcome back to another video. On this video, I want to tell you guys 8 reasons why I never, ever want to be poor again or ever want to go back to being broke. Now, I was poor as a small baby. I was poor as a small child. I was poor as a young teen. I was poor as an older teen. I was poor as a young adult. By the time I was 30 years old, I personally had a negative $30,000 net worth to my name. So my net worth was under zero by $30,000. Now today, I have a net worth that is pushing 7 figures, high 6 figures, right? So I've spent a lot of time, much more than half of my life, poor. And so if anybody can talk about why they don't want to be poor is somebody that has experienced being broke and being poor. Now, there's a slight difference, right? If you're broke, it's more temporary, right? It's more like a circumstance. But when you're poor, that's your lifestyle, right? You're living that, and it becomes sort of a mental issue if you stay in poverty or if you're poor for too long. If you're stopping by this channel for the first time, please consider subscribing and also smash the thumbs up button if you get anything out of the video. So I hate poverty. I don't like poverty. I'm not saying I don't like people that are poor, right? I'm saying I don't like the idea and the notion of poverty. Let's just jump right into it. Number one, the very first reason I don't like poverty and I do not want to go back to being poor ever is because when you're poor, you cannot really help other people the way you really want to help them in terms of money. Now, when you're poor, you can help other poor people with suggestions, with some of your time, with generosity, things that you can give each other, right? I'm poor, but I can help you and I can encourage you and I can motivate you, even though I'm poor too, but I really can't I can't go out and buy you some food, right? I can't go out and buy you a whole bunch of clothes if I'm poor also. So the old saying that, the best thing you can do for poor people is not be one of them, I believe that to be true. Because if you're poor, you cannot help people with some of the things that they need if you're also poor. One of the things that I like to do is help people as much as I can help people, right? And so one of my overall goals in making the money that I have or acquiring some wealth is to help people, to help other people that have needs. And you just can't do that if you're also poor. Number two, the second reason I don't want to go back to being poor is because when you're poor, it's too easy to blame other people, and it's too easy to blame other circumstances. Now, for me, I don't want to be at the point where I feel like I need to or have to or am thinking about blaming other people or blaming circumstances. It's too easy to do that when you're living in poverty. It's just too easy to blame your circumstance, your situation on other people. Now, so what I'm saying is I didn't do that when I was poor, but I can certainly understand it. When people are living in poverty, it's very, very easy and simple to say, look, if they would just sign that bill, or look, if they would just change this policy or change this rule, or if the economy got better, if inflation got a little bit lower, I'd have a little extra money. It's very, very simple, and it's understandable to blame other people and other circumstances. Now, the third reason I don't want to go back to poverty is this, guys. When you're poor, it feels like everyone else is in control of you, your time, your money. You don't feel like you have any amount of control when you're poor. It's like everybody is wrestling for your time, and you feel like you got to give your time here and you got to give your time there, and you're trying to make money. And that leads to another reason why I don't want to be poor, because poverty is stressful. Poverty is exhausting. I mean, the constant thought of, I got to make more money. I got to work more overtime. I wonder if that bonus is coming. I wonder if inflation is going to go up and the cost of bread is going to be $4 tomorrow. I'm worried about the cost of gas. I've got to make more money and more money. I got to start a business. I got to start a side gig. I got to have a side hustle. That job, I wonder, do they like me on that job? Do they not like me on that job? It's a lot of stress when you're living paycheck to paycheck, and when you're in poverty or when you're poor. There's so much anxiety and stress and depression and worry. It's just a lot of it. And so ultimately, that can have an effect on your health. That can have an effect on your mental health, right? Too much stress associated with being poor. And that kind of leads into number 5, right? The 5th reason I don't want to be poor no more is this. It's a feeling of being trapped. It's a feeling of not having any options, a feeling of not having choices and things that now, don't get me wrong, guys. Even if you're poor or in poverty, you still have choices, right? But a lot of times it's very, very easy to not really see those choices or not really understand some of those options that you have. It's a feeling of being trapped. And who wants to feel trapped, right? Who wants to feel like they have no options? But unfortunately, when you're poor, your options are somewhat limited, but they feel even more limited than they probably are. Now, number 6, the 6th reason I don't want to go back to poverty is that being poor has a stereotype that's associated with it. We know that all poor people are not lazy, right? We know that all poor people are not ignorant, right? We know that for a fact. But when you're poor or when you're in poverty, there's a stereotype, a stigma attached to being poor. And that is, again, you're lazy, you don't work hard, you're incapable of making good decisions or incapable of achieving anything because you're poor. People make all these assumptions about you. Now, should you be paying attention to these people? Of course not, right? We know that. I'm not saying that you should be paying attention to what other people say about you. But when you're poor, there are these stereotypes that are out there that oftentimes are not true. And that kind of leads to number 7. Number 7 is this, guys. A lot of times when you're poor, people don't respect you the way that you want to be respected or feel like you deserve to be respected. They also sort of treat you as helpless, hopeless, weak-minded, right? People kind of treat you like this, like you're sort of, we have to come down and we have to help the poor people. And all that is great when people help poor people, right? But when I was poor, I didn't want you to patronize me like that and make me feel like I was sort of weaker or any lesser than anybody else. It's cool to give me something if I'm poor, give me something. But don't just give me something, but teach me how to do something that will not make me poor anymore. So that's part of what I do at smartmoneybro.com and in my one-on-one sessions with people and on my Patreon. What I do is I say, look, you may be poor today. You may be in poverty. Now, what I'm going to do is instead of giving you a piece of fish, I'm going to teach you how to own the whole lake. I'm going to teach you some of the things and the principles and the ways of thinking, the ways of managing your money, the ways of managing your time, the ways of budgeting your money, the ways of investing, the ways in buying real estate. I'm going to show you things that's going to help you not be poor. I'm not just going to come in and hand you things because I will feel like I'm disrespecting you and I will feel like I'm disrespecting your capabilities and your abilities. That's one thing that really gets me about being in poverty, when people sort of disrespect you and sort of undervalue your capabilities and what you can do. And me personally, I want to help you if you're poor, but I want to help you help yourself if you're poor, because I know that's what's really going to move you out of poverty. It's not just me bringing you some fish so I can feel better in my conscience about helping out a poor person. What's going to really help you is if I show you how to make and manufacture the fishing pole. If I show you how to make and manufacture the bait. If I show you how to purchase and own and then rent out to other people the lake itself. And so that's really what poor people need. Okay, yes, handouts are good because I got to eat tonight, right? I got to have clothes on my back and shoes on my feet. But if I'm a poor person, I want you to respect me enough to give me the keys so that I won't be poor anymore. Now, finally, number 8. The 8th reason I don't want to go back to poverty ever again is simply this, guys. When you're poor, it's like you're sitting around waiting on an emergency to happen. You know that a tire is going to go out or something on your car or something's going to happen, right? And when you're poor, it's like these emergencies are coming and you can't do a whole lot about them. You can feel like you sort of have some type of preparedness and you're ready for them, right? But a lot of times when you're in poverty and you're living, say, paycheck to paycheck, these emergencies are going to happen. And it's like you're just sitting around waiting for them to happen. You don't know when, you don't know what, but you sit around waiting on them and you eyeing that payday loan place that's in that strip mall, and you just look at it like, man, I don't want to have to go there. I don't want to, man, what if this happens? I don't want to have to do that. And so it's like you're waiting for an emergency constantly. Again, adding to your stress. Now, those are my 8 reasons that I do not ever want to go back to being poor, or want to go back to poverty, or never want to go back to being broke. So, hey, listen, if you got anything at all out of this video, smash the like button for me. Subscribe if you're not already a subscriber. The best person to take care of the old you is the young you. Take care of yourself and take care of other people. Until the next video, peace.